welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a topic that, well, it touches every single one of us pretty much every day. It's about something we all encounter constantly, really.
Yeah.
Truth, half-truths, and outright deception.
Exactly. And our source material for this deep dive is Surrounded by Liars by Thomas Erikson. It's a book that promises to give us some, practical tools.
Tools for what, exactly?
Well, tools to better understand deception, maybe confront it, and even, surprisingly, gain some insights into our own behavior in the process.
Okay, interesting. So our mission today, for you listening, is to explore the underlying reasons people lie. We'll look at the many forms it takes from those, small personal fibs right up to large-scale global deceptions.
Right, and the consequences, too, which can be quite surprising. And most importantly, how you can navigate this complex landscape.
So get ready to maybe distill some key insights on one of humanity's most common, maybe oldest behaviors.
Definitely common.
Okay, so Erikson kicks things off right away with something I found really thought-provoking. It's about how difficult it is to even define honesty.
Yeah.
He talks about these workshops he runs. People suggest honesty as a core value, which sounds great.
Of course.
But then he asks them, okay, define 100% honest behavior. And apparently the whole discussion just crumbles.
Right, they can't agree.
Exactly. They couldn't even agree on the basic meaning, so they ended up just striking honesty from their list of values entirely. So what does that tell us?
Well, I think it's quite telling how quickly we all realize the complexity of it. Erikson suggests that while we all intellectually agree honesty is vital,
Sure.
we often compromise the truth, basically, at the first practical opportunity. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Does everyone lie?
Does he answer that?
He argues it's a reasonable assumption, almost instinctive, he says, and incredibly common. Just think about everyday phrases like, I'm fine, thanks, when you're not.
Or that dress looks great.
Exactly. Or even, I'm on my way, when, you've barely left the house. Those are small, everyday deceptions we barely notice.
And what's really interesting is why we do it. The book goes into the different motives, right?
Yeah, a whole spectrum. Things like self-defense or avoiding conflict, trying to impress someone.
Keeping secrets.
Keeping secrets, seeking social approval. And he even suggests that quite often we lie simply to protect other people's feelings. Those white lies or tiny omissions.
Right, the little white lie. Is that always bad?
Well, that's the interesting part. Some psychological research apparently indicates these small deceptions can sometimes actually benefit relationships, surprisingly.
Huh. But there's a catch, I assume.
There's always a catch. It really highlights the double-edged sword here, even with seemingly harmless lies. He gives this example.
Yeah.
A father tells his daughter her broken toy is at the toy hospital.
Oh, that sounds sweet. Compassionate.
Initially, yeah. But then the daughter wants to visit the toy hospital, and suddenly it spirals into this whole web of fraud and deceit, as he puts it.
Oh, dear.
The core message seems to be pretty clear. All lies, big or small, they bring consequences, sooner or later.
Okay, so moving beyond those sort of personal interactions, the book really dives into how deception plays out on a much bigger stage.
The larger landscape?
Yeah. It talks about fake news, describes it as like supposedly factual reporting that's actually inaccurate, or it's been deliberately presented to mislead.
Right. It's not just about getting facts wrong.
No, it's designed to confuse you, isn't it?
Yeah.
To make it incredibly hard to distinguish truth from fiction. Erikson even says that's why many people have just stopped watching traditional news.
That's a crucial point. So why is fake news so effective? Why does it spread so easily? And why are we, susceptible?
Good question.
Erikson suggests it taps right into our innate human curiosity. And it expertly plays on our emotions or values, basically to get clicks and engagement.
And he mentions specific examples, right? Like troll farms.
He does. He mentions Russia's Internet Research Agency in St. Petersburg, for example, producing propaganda but disguised as news.
And the purpose.
Well, according to the source, it was to promote the interests of Russian President Vladimir Putin and to smear the United States and Ukraine. The book even suggests a possible link to the public perceptions that played a role in Donald Trump winning the U.S. presidential election in 2016.
Okay, so the key for us here isn't the politics itself, but understanding how these mechanisms work, how information can be weaponized.
Precisely. Understanding the technique of deception, regardless of the specific content or agenda.
And it's not just words or news stories. It's numbers, too. We always hear, numbers never lie, but the book really challenges that.
Oh, yeah, big time. It shows how statistics can be twisted, presented in really deceptive ways.
Like those historical examples.
Exactly. Like the tobacco industry claiming more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette, which sounds like a health endorsement.
But it wasn't.
Not at all. It was just based on a survey of which brand doctors who already smoked happened to prefer. Clever, but deeply misleading.
Wow. In the MMR vaccine example, too.
Oh, that was infamous. Andrew Wakefield's study linking MMR to autism. Based on what, just 12 children?
12.
And deeply flawed methodologically. But it caused widespread, unfounded fear for years, despite being debunked.
So what's the insight there? Why do people distort stats?
Well, Erikson discusses how anyone with a strong bias or, a vested interest might be tempted to distort or selectively represent statistics. It happens when someone feels their ideology or their agenda, well, it matters more than the factual truth.
He touches on that phrase, alternative facts.
Yes, the phrase coined by presidential advisor Kellyanne Conway. The book describes it as a pretty blatant attempt to legitimize verifiable falsehoods just to serve a particular agenda.
So it's not always outright lying with numbers. Sometimes it's about the framing. Selective presentation.
Exactly. That's often how it works. Manipulation isn't always overt.
Okay, so we've looked at the landscape of deception. What does this all mean for us personally? What are the real costs?
Well, the book makes it really clear. Lying has profound consequences. And it starts with the most immediate one. a loss of trust.
Right.
It really hammers this home. Trust can take, gosh, an incredibly long time to build up.
Years, sometimes.
Yeah, but it can be torn down in an instant. And it's not just about whether you are directly lied to.
What do you mean?
Well, if you hear John lying to Linda, let's say, all you'll be able to think is John going to lie to me too? It creates this ripple effect.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the famous psychologist Erikson, no relation to the author, I think is even cited on how trust forms our entire framework for interpreting the world. It's fundamental.
And beyond trust, what about internally? What does lying do to us?
Well, it causes real turmoil inside. The book explains that dishonesty actually puts the brain into a state of heightened alert. It activates the limbic system, that's our fight or flight response center.
So physically?
Yeah, increased heart rate, sweating, anxiety, the classic stress responses. And here's where it gets really fascinating and maybe a little unsettling. We actually seem to grow more comfortable with lying the more we do it.
Really? How?
Brain imaging experiments, these were done at University College London. They reveal that the brain literally adapts to dishonest behavior.
Adapts.
Yeah, it's not just a moral slippery slope, it's like a neurological habit loop. The more you lie, the less your brain's amygdala reacts to it. Dishonesty literally feels easier over time.
Wow. Well, that's quite a thought.
Isn't it? It's a profound insight into how deception can become ingrained.
And the book is full of real-world examples of how personal deceit can just absolutely wreck lives and reputations.
Oh, definitely.
Like Anna Anderson, the woman who claimed to be Anastasia Romanoff.
Right, a highly motivated fraudster, the book calls her. Her story went on for decades, only definitively disproven by DNA technology years after she died. An extreme case.
And then there's Anna Delvey, or Anna Sorokin.
The fake heiress. Posing as a wealthy New York socialite, trying to swindle millions from banks, manipulating everyone, the author suggests she must have had distinct psychopathic traits.
Which brings up the motivations behind these really infamous liars.
Exactly. Erikson revisits Lance Armstrong's doping scandal. His dramatic improvement in cycling just triggered too many suspicions.
Despite years of angry denials.
Fierce denials, but then evidence from teammates, financial trails, it all led to that confession to Oprah Winfrey. A huge fall from grace.
And Bill Clinton.
Yeah, the I did not have sexual relations denial, the subsequent impeachment for perjury, obstruction of justice, it highlights that long-term stain on a legacy, even if he remained popular for some.
And finally, Bernie Madoff.
Madoff, a master manipulator, Erikson says, also suggesting psychopathic traits. His massive Ponzi scheme, just devastating.
And it was enabled by what? His personality.
Partly, yes. His appealing personality, his influence, his standing in the financial industry, it allowed this massive fraud to go on for so long, destroying countless lives. These aren't just gossip stories, they're serious cautionary tales.
Absolutely. So, after understanding the sheer breadth of lying, is there any good news? Does Erikson give us tools to protect ourselves?
Yes, thankfully, that's a big part of the book. He even, rather surprisingly, walks us through how to construct a really believable lie.
Wait, he teaches you how to lie?
Well, not so you can use the strategies. The idea is, as he says, to help you recognize it the next time somebody tosses one at you.
Oh, okay. Like learning offense to improve defense.
Precisely. It's about reverse engineering. He outlines key steps using a story about someone called Sam who lied about deleting financial data. Things like find a clear motive, choose a credible lie, something close to the truth.
Makes sense.
Focus on details, but don't overdo it. Be consistent, anticipate the counter questions, manage your body language, reinforce the lie later, and even plan an exit strategy.
Wow, it's quite the checklist.
It really is. It shows how deliberate constructing a good lie can be.
So if that's how lies are built,
yeah,
who's best at spotting them?
Interesting question. He discusses professional interrogators, of course, but the author, who mentions he has a high blue bar in the DISC profile.
DISC. Remind us what that is.
Right. It's a behavioral assessment tool, sort of categorizes communication styles. Blue relates to conscientiousness, analytical, precise, detail-oriented.
Okay, so blues are good lie detectors.
He posits they have an unquestionable advantage. Because they pay such close attention to details, their brains are often extremely organized, their memory is usually very good, and crucially, they ask an awful lot of questions. They notice inconsistencies.
That's fascinating. But what about the classic lie detector test, the polygraph? We see it in movies all the time. Does it work?
Well, it's complicated. The book mentions FBI data suggesting maybe 87% accuracy. But then
there's a but.
There's a big but. There are researchers who claim polygraphs are not credible at all, like 0% accuracy.
Zero? Why such a discrepancy?
Because innocent people can fail just out of sheer nervousness. Your heart races because you're accused, not because you're lying. That's why courts often dismiss polygraph results. The margins of error are just seen as too large.
Huh. And get this, there was another surprising point about therapists.
Oh yeah, this was eye-opening. Psychologists are bound by confidentiality, right?
Right.
But apparently, almost every single one reports that their patients have, at some point, either lied to them or been less than truthful.
Okay.
And the therapists often don't realize it. They don't discover the lies.
Wow. Even trained professionals struggle.
It really underscores the complexity of it all, which leads to, okay, what do you do if you suspect someone is lying to you? How do you confront them?
Yeah, what's the advice there?
Erikson emphasizes understanding the motive first. Why might they be lying? Is it self-preservation? Social pressure, maybe even a misguided attempt at altruism.
So understand before accusing.
Exactly. He advises creating a safe environment, find neutral territory, use active listening, keep your body language open, and crucially, avoid blame. Because lying, he points out, is every bit as much an emotional act as it is a rational one.
That's a really important distinction.
It is. And he also highlights trusting your intuition, that gut feeling, that internal voice telling you something just feels off. It's not proof. but it's data worth paying attention to.
Right. Don't ignore that feeling.
Hmm.
Okay. So we've taken a really comprehensive deep dive into this complex world of lying,
Yeah.
from the tiny white lies right up to global deceptions.
Yeah, we've seen how pervasive it is, explored some of the surprising reasons we do it, and looked at the pretty profound consequences it can have on trust, relationships, even our own minds.
But we've also learned how to approach deception, maybe with a more discerning eye,
Yeah.
and perhaps, as you said, a more empathetic understanding.
Right. Whether it's just recognizing a pattern in a seemingly innocent fib, or maybe thoughtfully confronting a much more serious untruth. The goal isn't just to spot the lie, but to better understand the human behavior behind it. Why is this happening?
Erikson's book really challenges us, doesn't it, to
Right.
consider our own relationship with the truth. He even includes a self-assessment test in the book, apparently reveals some paradox about honesty. So, maybe as you go about your week, a question to ask yourself is, if you were to lay the truth bare in every situation, what might genuinely be the worst that could happen?
It's a confronting question.
It really is. And the book leaves us with this powerful thought from the author's own experience. He suggests that each lie you refrain from telling will reduce your need for further lies to cover up your deception.
The web gets smaller.
Exactly. And this will spare you a lot of fear of being exposed. You'll feel more secure in the absence of lies to maintain.
So maybe, counterintuitively, the truth really does set us free, or at least makes us less anxious.
Perhaps embracing honesty, even when it's hard, is actually one of the most self-preserving things we can do. Something to think about.